In the indie 3D platformer scene, one game in particular really left an impact with me a few years ago called Demon Turf. Obviously, it's all about the art style, like this really cool, dark and atmospheric take on a platforming adventure, and you play as this cute little demon girl and everything is in 2D except for the world, like it's a Paper Mario 3D platformer. Love that. This game did so many cool things, though I will admit there were some problems that I thought held it back from being truly great. For those who have yet to give the game a shot, one of the game's strong points were its movement options. You can do so much as this little demon girl Beebs. She can transform into different demons on the fly depending on your button inputs, and by doing so you can change so many glides and wall jumps, and like, it gets crazy. If you really want to be good at this game, there are so many crazy things that you can do. But then there were things like there were combat segments, and that really wasn't all that great. And then there's the checkpoint system where you can set your own checkpoints, but you're limited in how many checkpoints you can do. So on your first time through, you never know like where you want to put the checkpoints, and then, oh, I really want one now, but I can't, so I gotta replay a little bit of gameplay. Like, wasn't the most polished system in the world, despite how cool this game was. Because if there's one word to describe Demon Turf, it's that it's cool. And there were definitely a lot of other cool things that could be done with this character, with this world, with these play mechanics, because there's also a little micro adventure that came out afterwards called Demon Turf Neon Splash, which gives everything like a nice bright neon color palette now, but it's just more of the game. It's just more of the gameplay, more of the platforming challenges, and it's really good stuff. But we fast forward a few years now to December of 2024, and hey, look at that, an actual sequel, Demon Tides. The main takeaway from this trailer, it's in 3D now. Oh man, such a jump. With the Steam Next Fest going on, as well as me getting access to the demo early, I got to put in a lot of time into the current Demon Tides demo, and despite my issues with the original game Demon Turf, this one is gonna be so much better. Oh my god, this game is really, really fun. Just to really quickly get my original complaint out of the way, the combat has been dramatically reduced. Like, oh my god, there are no more battle arenas, there's like nothing like that. You can do combat with enemies for sure, you have to have some options, but it's definitely nowhere near as pace crushing as it was before. The checkpoint system is back, where you can set your checkpoints wherever you want, but you're no longer limited, at least in the sections that are in the demo, so good. Good, we're already off to a great start. The movement options with Beebs, also top tier. You can once again turn into a bunch of different demons right on the fly, and you can change some moves to make yourself just feel like a badass. Once everything clicks and you're doing these crazy bounces and double jumps and figuring out where you can do this spin so you can elongate your glide a little bit and then jump out of it, and then you can do a nice little dive out of it, like, oh man. It feels so good. That is going to be one of Demon Turf's and Demon Tide's strongest suits. Even if I had my problems with the first game, the play control is immaculate. You really, to sound cliche, like feel like a demon girl, because once you get a full grasp of just every single ability you have on hand, oh man, you feel so powerful. I mean, just taking a look at my footage here, you start off in the tutorial area and you're like, okay, I do a jump here, oh, I can do a spin, and you're really slowly figuring it out. And then you look at the gameplay from just an hour in and it's like, okay, you're already chaining things together like crazy. And I'm probably not even all that good. And honestly, as cool as the 2D art style was, like when you're watching it, I do think this 3D style just looks better. Something about doing the Paper Mario style in a proper platformer, something about my brain didn't click with it, but that's just a me thing. I think this looks a whole lot better. But the thing I didn't realize, because I wasn't really paying attention to the original trailer and I didn't know what was happening until I was already in the game, this is like a Wind Waker, Bowser's Fury kind of combo 3D platformer. Oh, it's so cool. So your ship crashes in this giant water middle of nowhere, and you got to explore around the area to find a bunch of parts to save your crew. But the way you do so is you just turn into this snake monster where you can just swim across water, and now it's like Wind Waker. You're just exploring this vast open water area, and then you find these mysterious islands, and then those islands house a handful of collectibles. So then for a little brief period, similar to Bowser's Fury, you could just do a handful of platforming challenges if you want. Like there's a bunch of ring challenges, there's a ton of vertical platforming, and I love that. There's the addition of grinding, and you can boost while you're grinding, and obviously the Sonic part of my brain is very appreciative of that. And this is also where I got a true appreciation for the checkpoint system. Simply by making it unlimited, it now pairs perfectly with just the amount of movement options you have on hand, because I was experimenting a ton with all the different things I can do and all the places I can go, and because of the checkpoints, I was never really being punished for screwing up, which I was doing a lot. So good on this game, everything is coming together beautifully. I particularly love a lot of the landscapes being like a bunch of city buildings that are submerged underwater. I just have a thing for platformers that are trying to be more experimental with their locales. And cityscapes, while at this point are not totally uncommon, this combination of underwater with cityscapes and there's still some moving pieces going around, like, this is a pretty cool looking area. It's pretty memorable. And if at any point you just want to take a break and go do something else, you can just hop on back as a little fish thing and then go find another island. And everything is so seamless. There were no loading times once I got into the game. Wow, it really is just a Wind Waker, Bowser's Fury inspired 3D platformer. That's so sick. And sometimes while you're swimming, these little rings will pop up that you can go through. Why not? Just a little micro challenge right then and there. It'd be cool if there were like maybe more things that happen during these to spice it up a little bit more, but I don't know, for what it is, it was just a nice relaxing time before I got to do some nice platforming challenges. It's a cool dynamic. And I feel like all of these different systems are really going to be to this game's unique because of the huge world exploration. Obviously, this game will cater to if you want to just hop in for a few hours and just go as crazy as you can, searching for every nook and cranny, you can do that. But because these islands, at least so far, are not super big and you can pick and choose what you want to do when you want to do it, it also caters to bite-sized play. You can go in, do a mission, maybe do a time trial. Oh, you forgot about this one thing in an earlier level, you can go to that too, and then you can move on with your day. This is hitting a few different niches all at once, and that's pretty cool. Every little island that you would explore would have a little bit of a different story going on too, because there would be different NPCs that you can interact with. There are different goals to go for. Maybe there's some hidden pirates you gotta find. You never know until you get there. And your incentive for doing everything on these islands is not just to get the collectibles for collectibles' sake. You can also get things like cosmetics. I do love me when a platformer has cosmetic options. But also this game has the additions of abilities that you can attach to beeps to slightly change how you play, slightly modifying how your jumps work and all that sort of stuff. You can really customize this however you see fit. And that's pretty cool. And then in the context of the world, it creates a few shops for some of the NPCs back in the little main hub area. And cool, more of the characters are doing things, the world feels more alive. It is worth pointing out once again that this is a demo. I did encounter like a bit of a graphical bug with one of the skins that permanently added a pixelated thing behind Beebs. That's not going to be in the full game. Do not take that seriously. It's just there for now. And there was an invisible wall partway through this quadrant of the water, so you can't explore the entire thing. But even still, in this demo, I got to put in about an hour and a half of time, and I didn't do everything. And there's also, if you want replayability, there are time trials as well that connect to online leaderboards. Holy cow. If you haven't played a game like this, you don't understand how cool it is to have as many movement options as you do, and then the game is smart enough to challenge you to say, okay, now try to be good at it. You can go onto the leaderboards, you can load up ghost data and race against those, and already in this little demo, people are doing some really good things. One of my YouTube rivals, I guess you could say, NitroRad, got the demo too, and he's good at the game. I couldn't beat him, so good for you, James. Congratulations. There are other really cool things too, like there's a photo mode, there's going to be a graffiti mode where you can tag the environment that's going to be way more fleshed out in the final product. And something that this game does that's so brilliant that I really wish more platformers would do is when you're going for all the collectibles and you want to know where the next one is, especially when you only have a couple more left, you can have an arrow that points you right there instead of losing your mind for hours just trying to find one final thing. Thank God. I think realistically, the thing that I'm the most excited about with this game now that I've put a couple hours into it and explored only just this one tiny little bit of the first quadrant of this game is that when I go and look at the trailer, there's clearly so many more things that I've yet to experience because they're not in this demo. A wider variety of environments, there's a lot more story elements, there is proper combat to be seen here for sure, and I'm sure that if I get to it, it's probably going to be fine because it's its own little thing and not a stronger part of the game. And then who knows, you know there's going to be more secrets in there too, especially as you get closer to the end of the game. I'm pretty excited for this. Like there's this one part in the area where like you have to very clearly tackle 3 different things that all send a light back to one main area, and I'm like, okay, once I get all 3, something's gonna happen, but you can't access all 3 yet. It's such a tease. I want to know what that does. There's just something so cathartic about being in a platformer world with no loading times, and you really feel like there's just endless possibilities around every corner. Again, reminiscent of Wind Waker and Bowser's Fury, the whole lack of loading screens is very similar to Jak and Daxter. Like, very clearly a lot of influences that are being pulled from here, but everything is coming together in such a beautiful way. I am super excited for Demon Tides. And remember, this is from someone who wasn't even all that huge on Demon Turf. This is going to be the one to keep your eyes on. Regardless of whether or not you get to play the demo during the Steam Next Fest, if you want a platformer where the gameplay is the core focus and the style is also very cool, Demon Tides deserves to be on your list. The link to the Steam page will be down below. Go and wishlist it. Go and play Demon Turf 2. You're probably missing out on some really good platforming time there as well. If you're a fan of 3D platformers, you already know the indie space is the place to check out for. So if you like these types of videos highlighting some of these games, I'll continue to do them because I love these games and I want them to succeed as much as possible. Let me know what your thoughts on Demon Turf and Demon Tides are down below. And until next time, here's a weird bit where Beebs dances now. Look at her go.